Good evening. I'm Jack Wadenell, and I'm the Dean of the Texas Tech University School of Law. I'd like to welcome you to our May 2023 commencement ceremony. Let me ask our students, how happy are you to be here? How happy are you to be here? There we go. We're all happy to be here. This is also the university centennial, so let me start by saying happy 100th birthday to Texas Tech. Let's have a round of applause for Texas Tech. Now, the hooding ceremony is always a very special occasion, one that marks a major professional milestone in the lives of our graduates, our students, after years of hard work, determination, and endless hours of study, have made it at last. Let's offer them our congratulations. And to the friends and family of our students here, let me say, I know you are incredibly proud today, and it's your unwavering support that helped these students reach this moment. Thank you for all you've done to make their journey possible. Let's have a big round of applause for the family and friends. It's now my pleasure to recognize the special guests we will hear from today. Texas Tech System Board of Regents Vice Chair Mark Griffin, a 1979 graduate of the law school and one of our strongest supporters. Applause for Mark Griffin. And we have Student Bar Association President Connor Lee. Connor Lee. Our keynote speaker is Mark Lanier, a 1984 graduate of the law school, about whom I will say more in a few minutes. Let's welcome Mark Lanier. And of course, our elected class speaker, Judy Tejeda Gonzalez. Round of applause for her. Thank you to all our speakers for being with us today. I also want to take a moment to recognize other members of our stage party. We're so pleased to have Texas Tech University Regent Clay Cash here with us today. Regent Cash and his family have a long history of supporting Texas Tech University, and we're honored to have him here with us this evening. Let's give him a big round of applause. We're also delighted to have Texas Tech University President Lawrence Skuvenik here with us today. President Skuvenik is responsible for so much of the success the law school has had over the past few years. Let's welcome President Skuvenik with a round of applause. We're also very happy to have Texas Tech University Provost Ron Hendrick here with us. Provost Hendrick has been a great supporter of the law school, and we're grateful for all he's done for us. Let's give him a round of applause and welcome. Finally, we have Associate Dean for Academic Affairs, Wendy Adele Humphrey, class of 2001, a tireless supporter of our faculty, staff, and students. My thanks to her for all she does. Let's make sure she feels welcome today. So today is a big day. Let me take a moment now to say to our students, you're about to become graduates, and we are so proud of you. And as you move today from law students to law graduates, remember, you will always be part of the Texas Tech Law family. Please stay in touch. Reach out whenever you need anything, and know we are always here to help and to cheer you on from success to success. And one more thing, in July, wreck that bar exam. We know you can do it. At this point, I'd like to invite Regent Mark Griffin and then SBA President Connor Lee to share greetings with our graduates and guests.
Dean Allen, thank you so much. And to the family and friends, graduates, welcome to our beautiful campus in the United Supermarkets Arena. I bring you greetings from the Texas Tech University System Board of Regents, and I'm proud as I can be to serve with Clay and under the leadership and guidance of Lawrence and Ron in their capacities. This law school enjoys strong support from the administration, and deservedly so. I want to also congratulate the families that are here. especially the moms. Tomorrow's a special day. You just get to enjoy it one day earlier tonight. 44 years ago, I was in your seat. It happened to be at the Allen Theater on the Tech campus. And while I know my mom and dad were proud, I have to tell you, my mom was probably shocked. Not only that I got in law school, which today I probably wouldn't be eligible, but that I graduated. I know it for you, this is a monumental occasion. It's as if you've spent your whole life in school. And now you're getting ready to start a new chapter in your life. And I know you've worked incredibly hard to get here. And tonight, it's such an honor to celebrate you. I want you to let the full weight of this accomplishment sink in and wash over you. And I want you to reflect just for a moment on those who played a significant role in getting you to this moment. Maybe it was your mom and dad. Maybe it was a spouse or a professor or a mentor. Take a moment and express to them, either through the spoken word or the written word, how much their support and their encouragement meant to you. Your life is fixing to get kind of busy with the bar prep. I get it. But in these moments from this day forward, before you begin that preparation, take a moment and say thank you. We all, if we're truthful with ourselves, would conclude that this is not a solitary journey. You've done the hard work. You've made the grades. You performed admirably. But along the way, you had people standing beside you every step of the way, whether you realized it or not. And their encouragement brought you and helped bring you here today. And I want you to know that your time here at Texas Tech has prepared you for really quite a few of life's challenges. And if you're truthful again, you're different today than when you began this journey. If you admit it to yourself, you're different today. You know things differently. You see the world a little differently. And you understand maybe who you are a little differently. You may go into the practice of law. You may use your legal degree and your license to do other things in the business world or in the nonprofits. That's wonderful. It's beautiful, but you're prepared to do that. But I want you to remember one thing. A wise man once said, what holds a person back is not who they are, but who they think they're not. They're not smart enough. I'm not good enough. I'm not articulate enough. Let me put that to rest right now. All of you have everything you need to succeed by being no more or no less than who you are today. Let that sink in. Grasp and hold to that. You were prepared. This school has prepared you to do what you need to do to be successful. And with the training and with your spirit and your integrity and your honor and your soul, you are ready to go. But today does not really mark an end to your relationship with each other or with this law school. The day you accepted this offer of admission, you joined a lifelong community. Texas Tech took a chance on you, and you took a chance on Texas Tech. In fact, you joined a family. And just like your own family, you will be a member of the Texas Tech law family for life. And what does that mean? Well, it means we help each other. We open doors for each other. We help each other face life's challenges. Let me say a word about Mark Lanier, if I might. A dear personal friend of mine, you are in for a treat tonight. He is incredibly accomplished. Has generously given of his time, his treasure, and his talent to this institution. Learn from his wisdom, because to put it in a legal context, he has standing to speak. I can assure you, when he's done, you're going to be ready to take on the world. So I hope you share this enormous pride and joy in what you've achieved. And you join the ranks of an outstanding group of alumni. I don't know if the crowd here tonight understands the significance of this class and the standard bearer, the flag they're going to be carrying from this day forward. You'll want to know, U.S. News and World Report just a couple of weeks ago ranked this law school the 71st best in the country. That is worthy of applause. It's a credit to you and to these professors and these friends that you're surrounded by tonight. But by joining these ranks of alumni of the Texas Tech School of Law, there's also an obligation that goes along with it to continue the legacy of achievement. Tech lawyers distinguish themselves in their profession. A legacy of scholarship. Tech lawyers are always prepared. And a legacy of public service. Tech lawyers give of themselves not only for the betterment of their clients, but for the communities and the families that they serve. As former Dean Walt Huffman used to say, graduating from Tech Law is a big deal. And I couldn't agree with him more. Graduates, congratulations on this important day. But this is just the beginning. Great things await you because you're a tech lawyer. Congratulations.
Hey everyone, I haven't quite earned this yet, so I'm going to hold off. Unlike all these wonderful people on the stage with me. Thank you so much, Regent Griffin, for those remarks. And hello everyone, congrats on this accomplishment, and welcome to one of the most important days in your life. I am so thankful to be with all of you here today. I've seen you accomplish so much over these 3 years. Though law school was a huge challenge, we're here, we've risen to it, and it's okay to feel pride for that. I would like to repeat something that the late Mike Leach, former Texas Tech football head coach, who also earned his JD, wrote in his Texas Tech Law Review article. He said that the best description of a law degree is that it is a degree in problem solving. There are a lot of problems in the world right now. Find the problems you are passionate about and go solve them. Coach Leach was a pioneer of a new method of offense in football, and his legacy continues today. Serving as president of the student body has given me a glimpse into your personalities through your organizations, and I know that we are all passionate about problems. Whether we apply our passion to social issues, government, advocacy, business, litigation, or otherwise, my hope is that we maintain the fire and the drive to solve these problems, or to at least be a voice for them. Go be a pioneer. Go be an innovator like Coach Leach, because of the way you have learned to solve problems. Remember the classmates sitting next to you. They will continue to be a resource and a support to you for the rest of your career. In your organizations, I've seen the spirit of cooperation by hosting events together, and I hope that continues. Not only with people like you, but with diverse groups, maintaining different opinions and ways of thinking that can both challenge and grow you. In your interactions with people, both for your career and in your community, remember that you are not just a lawyer or an attorney, but a counselor as well. We are placed in a position because of the nature of our degree to make a positive impact, not just on ideas or nebulous concepts, but on individuals, and on our community members. Use your position and skills to be a positive force in your clients' lives. Thank you, family, for supporting us. For me specifically, my wife Valerie and my daughter Layla. Thank you, professors, for pushing us. Thank you, God, for allowing us another day. And thank you, fellow students, for bearing our burdens with us. I'm proud to be here with you, and now let's celebrate. Recom Tech.
Let's have one more round of applause for Regent Mark Griffin and Connor Lee. Wonderful. We have such a fantastic keynote speaker for you today, Mark Lanier, class of 1984. Mark is the founder of the Lanier Law Firm with offices in Houston, New York, Los Angeles, and elsewhere. Mark is one of the nation's very best trial attorneys, and he's earned international recognition with record-setting verdicts in courtrooms throughout the United States. We are talking billions in verdicts. Mark is also an author, a teacher, and a pastor. In addition to his law degree from Texas Tech, Mark has an undergraduate degree in biblical languages from Lipscomb University. He's written several books and numerous articles on both law and theology. Mark was twice named Trial Lawyer of the Year by the National Trial Lawyers Association and has been inducted into the National Trial Lawyers Hall of Fame. Mark's also been honored as the National Law Journal's Outstanding Trial Lawyer of the Year, and the American Association of Justice has honored him with their Lifetime Achievement Award. He's also the founder of the Lanier Theological Library, one of the nation's largest theological book collections. Mark has taught a biblical literacy class at Champion Forest Baptist Church for over 18 years, which is live streamed to thousands. Mark holds 3 honorary doctorates and has received the Distinguished Alumnus Award from Texas Tech University and Texas Tech University School of Law. Mark is accomplished, dedicated, a true leader in his community. We're so proud of him, his career, and his leadership. As Dean, it is my privilege and my honor to welcome Mark Lanier as the Law School Centennial Commencement Keynote Speaker.
I got my tools. I'm excited to talk to you because you've got your tools. And we're going to talk tools in a minute. But before we do, I want to congratulate each of you. This is a big deal. It's a big deal because most people who want to go to law school never get in. Most people who want to go to law school don't understand how important it is to get into Texas Tech School of Law. I was teaching a torts class at Harvard University School of Law, and I started out by telling them, first thing I said was, I get a lot of opportunities to teach in law schools, and I usually say no, but I felt kind of bad for y'all because it's clear to me you didn't get into Texas Tech and you had to go to your safety school. And I'd love to tell you that they laughed at that joke. The problem with them was they thought I was serious, and they were elbowing each other saying, I didn't even apply. I didn't know about this. And they were all concerned. But I do give you my congratulations. And my congratulations to your families and friends and loved ones who are here. My congratulations to the professors who have taught you so well, and to the faculty, administration, and others, the Board of Regents, the school itself. This is a red letter day for you. So, you've got the tools. I went to Home Depot. I got the tools. Let's talk about them for a few minutes. And I'm excited to get to do this with you. Let me first of all tell you what you've been given, as my buddy Mark Griffin said, are all the tools you need to succeed. It's now a question of what you do with them. How are you going to use the tools, and what are you going to build? Because you're building not just your life, but you're building a career. You're building a reputation. You're building your name. And somewhere in your building, you're building something of the legacy of Texas Tech University School of Law. So, I got my work gloves, and I'm going to invite you to put on your gloves because this is hard work. If I could tell you anything about practicing law, It's the importance of hard work. Hard work trumps talent. Hard work trumps top grades. You might be graduating at the bottom of the class. You may be number 130 out of 130. It doesn't matter. You pass that bar, you're a lawyer. And I want to tell you something. You work hard, and you will whip the number ones you go up against. I lost a trial one time, and I'm still convinced that the lawyer that beat me really wasn't all that talented. But that lawyer outworked me. I was a young lawyer, and I decided I may not win every case, but I would never get outworked again. Put your gloves on, go to work. And part of going to work includes this measuring tape. You know what you use this for? Preparation. You don't go into, you want to cut a board, you better measure it twice if you want to cut once. The other saying is, I've cut this board 3 times and it's still too short. Part of your hard work is the preparation you put into it. And that starts preparing for the bar. Don't put that off. Don't take that lightly. You kill it. As Dean Nowlin said, you wreck it. You take that bar and do the prep. Do the prep course. Get yourself ready. Focus on it with great drive and purpose. Because you've got to prepare for it just like you prepare for everything you'll do in your career. Speaking of, a hammer. Uh-oh. I think that's a tort. You know, there's a saying, if one's only tool is a hammer, every problem looks like a nail. Hey, there's a problem. There's a problem. Okay. I think you're going to make me buy another podium. There's a problem. There's a problem. The thing about it is, you can have the best hammer in the world. You can have a great grip on that hammer. You can have the swing down. But every problem you face is not a nail. And there are some problems that hammer's just not going to be useful for. And I'm telling you this because you don't want to be a one-tool lawyer. You want to continue to grow. I made a resolution early in my career that I would learn something significant before every case I try. I want to learn a new technique. I want to learn a new understanding of how people think or how people learn or how people remember. I want to learn better how to communicate. I want to learn, and I have gone through disciplines over the last 38 years. Studying everything from linguistics to communication theory to neuroscience and cognitive science to artificial intelligence to psychology, because I'm constantly wanting to get better. You want to be your very best the last day you're a lawyer. Don't be a hammer. Be as many tools as you can possibly be. And one of the tools you're going to need, hang on, I'm getting the new T Swift concert. Hold on. One of the tools you're going to need is take care of your hearing. Oh, I don't mean if you get to go to the T Swift concert, carry hearing plugs, though it would be useful. What I do mean is one of the most important, absolute, 3 most important pieces of advice I can give you is to be a good listener. Listen. Listen to your clients. Listen to your coworkers. Listen to your opponents. I was trying a case in St. Louis one time, and the thrust of the case was that Johnson & Johnson's baby powder, which was made with talcum powder, had asbestos within the talcum powder. And it was our contention that that asbestos had caused ovarian cancer with my 22 women, my 22 clients. And the defendants called a witness. She was a doctor within Johnson & Johnson's company. And she got on the stand and she testified that her mother used Johnson & Johnson baby powder all the time. Had used it on her kids, had used it as an adult. This doctor said, I'd go to my mom's house and I would see Johnson & Johnson's baby powder everywhere. And then the doctor said, or at least implied strongly, do you think for a moment, if I believed that powder could cause ovarian cancer, that I'd have let my own mother use it? I was listening. I was not just listening with my ears, I was listening with my gut. And I didn't have a deposition. I didn't have answers to the questions I was about to ask, but I heard something that awakened in me the following cross-examination. Ma'am, doctor, you testified that your mother used Johnson's baby powder all the time. Yes, it was all over the house. Yes. I said, well, I hope your mom's doing okay. She said, Mr. Lanier, my mother passed away a couple of years ago. And I said, I'm sorry. And I don't mean to be nosy, but what did she die from? Answer? Ovarian cancer. And I think the record actually reads, because the court reporter takes it all down, answer, ovarian cancer. Mr. Lanier, because that was my response. I'm like, you got to be a good listener. And it's a really hard task to do at times. But I urge you to do it. And a lot of times you'll think you're listening, and you're not really listening, because that doesn't come as natural to some of us as it should, which is why I brought some sandpaper. Because there are aspects to our personality and traits that we have that need a little sanding around the edges. So don't stop growing personally either. Become who you can be. Don't be satisfied with who you are. Now, when I was at Home Depot, I found this. This is really cool. I don't know if you know what this is. Griffin, you probably do. This is a stud finder. It's a stud sensor. You use it to find the studs in a wall. And ever since y'all walked in here, it's been going off. 71st? That's an incredible ranking for you in your law school. You made my degree so much more valuable. Your studs and studettes. Don't forget it. This is really cool. Don't let it go to your head, but don't forget it. All right? Next, duct tape. There's a lady who works for me who I don't think she graduated from college, but she may be my most valuable employee out of 175 people at my firm, because she can fix any problem that comes to her. She is a fixer. It's easy to identify problems. Duct tape, by the way, will fix most every problem. It's easy to identify problems, but you want to be a fixer. You want whoever you work for to see you as the person who fixes the problem. You become a fixer, and your job security will be amazing. Now, there are going to be times where you screw up. That's my screwdriver. And sometimes you'll screw up and it's not something you can control. Sometimes it's just a big screw up and you just muffed it. And you need to know what to do and you need to know how to react. I was in a case one time with a lawyer who had screwed up. The judge called us back into chambers off the record. And the judge said to that lawyer, I want you to do 3 things. I want you to say, I'm sorry I screwed up. I want you to say, I won't do it again. And I want you to say, how can I fix it? And the lawyer started saying, well, Judge, I did. And the judge said, stop. 3 things. I screwed up. I won't do it again. How can I fix it? That's all I want to hear. The lawyer said, but Judge, don't say but. 3 things. And for 15 minutes, that lawyer tried to argue that lawyer's case. And the judge took him out of the case and wouldn't let him do anything in that case for the next 2 years. You got to figure out how to hold things together when you screw up. And be very careful. There was a lawyer that was being disbarred, or they were trying to disbar him. And he asked me to represent him and try and save his law license. And I got a call from his secretary. And she said, can you come help? And I said, what's up? She said, he's locked himself in his bedroom. And he won't answer. We had to kick the door down. He was lying in a fetal position, unconscious from alcohol, in his own feces, because he didn't have the right way to hold it together. Be very, very careful how you deal with things that will alter your mind. I've made a lot of money off lawyers who drink too much because they talk. And I don't try a case without having someone in the bars just with listening because they do talk. It's crazy. Be careful. Hey, look at this. That's pretty good light, isn't it? You look, I can see you, but I can see you and you. You know what you've got now? You've got a degree that lets you shine light on injustice. That lets you shine light where light needs to shine. And as you do that, you can help transform the world. Lawyers can change the world. I tried the nation's opioid case, the first one against the pharmacies up in Ohio. And I was brought back by the Cleveland Bar Association with the judge and a few of the other lawyers last week because they proclaimed it the trial of the century so far. It's resulted in billions and billions and billions of dollars going into our communities to fight the opioid epidemic. And we looked to see how many lawyers had worked on that case. I just get the fun of trying it. But we had over 1,000 lawyers working up that case, spending over $130 million in that fight. It's an amazing opportunity you have to shine your light and to make a difference in the world. This is a level, and it's one of the things you're going to need for any point that I've made thus far, and I'm almost done. But I urge you, practice your life on the level. Be ethical above all else. The temptations to cut a corner, the temptations to fudge will always be there. And so the challenge for you is to never succumb to the temptation. Live on the level, and it'll be huge. All right, last point. I got some glue. You know why? I need you to do me a favor. I need you to not only stick together, but I need you to stick to the law school. You see those U.S. News and World Rankings? There's a number of things they look to. They look to how many of you pass the bar, how many of you have jobs, what the admission class looks like. But they also look at how many of you get back to your law school. So if you'll make a decision to stick to your law school, it doesn't have to be huge. I'm not talking about build a building. I'm not talking about, endow a professor. Send $25. Do something to stick to your school. And what will happen is we'll all laugh in a couple of years and say, yeah, remember when we were 71st in the rankings? That was back in the old days. Now we're number 11. And the University of Texas is in our dust. Recom Tech. Good luck to y'all.
Let's have another big round of applause for Mark Lanier. That was wonderful. Good. At this time, Dean Sophia Chapman will lead the recognition of our graduating class. Thank you.
Thank you, Nolan. We will now have the recognition of the graduates. Rusty William Acuna, hooded by Professor Richard D. Rosen. Noah Alford Hansen. Noah Hansen Alford, hooded by Professor Brian D. Shannon. Jamie Marie Bahunda Allen, hooded by Hooding Professor. Brooke N. Allen, hooded by Tommy Sheen. Lena Lamis Alsuki, hooded by Ramon Noyola. Braden Nicholas Anderson, hooded by Kayla Wimberly. Claire Catherine Andrews, hooded by Professor Donald W. Yandel. Audra Renee Apke, hooded by Missy Oakley. Justice Ross Barkman, hooded by Patrick Barkman and Professor Patrick S. Metz. Hannah Jo Beetler, hooded by Craig Oglesby. Connor Daniel Beek, hooded by Professor William R. Keffer. Grant Alexander Biggs, hooded by Adriana Biggs and Brent Biggs. Amy Marie Blake, hooded by Professor Jerry W. Beyer and Professor Roderick E. Wetzel. Scout Sterling Blosser, hooded by Professor Jerry W. Beyer. Jillian Marie Borison, hooded by Houston Berger and Inga Parsons. Abigail Rebecca Brown, hooded by Laura Beth Fawcett. Jonathan Robert Buchanan, hooded by Brian Buchanan and Catherine Buchanan. Roman Genesis Cano, hooded by Hooding Professor. Brannon Hensley Caraway, hooded by Bill Brannon Caraway. Alexis Danielle Carter, hooded by Professor Jeffrey S. Korn and Deidre Ward. Riley Michelle Carter, hooded by Diane Carter. Benjamin Eric Casey, hooded by Professor Jorge A. Ramirez and Professor Roderick E. Wetzel. Bethany Ann Kavanaugh, hooded by Leah Green. Kat Jordan Clopton, hooded by Professor Derek Mergel Rust and Professor Bree D. Sherwin. Jamie Marie Cole, hooded by Professor Roderick E. Wetzel. Miles Christopher Corona, hooded by Max Cannon and Jackson Field. J.C. Joel Cruz, hooded by Professor Brandon Beck and Professor Robert T. Sherwin. Hannah Nicole Davis, hooded by Professor Paul Stafford and Professor Roderick E. Wetzel. Madeline Joy Deviney, hooded by Associate Dean Wendy Adele Humphrey. Olivia Laura Diaz, hooded by Michael Magalus. Sarah Elizabeth Dickey, hooded by Professor Dustin B. Benham and Professor Jerry W. Byer. Abigail Louise Diggs, hooded by Professor Roderick E. Wetzel. J.C. Snap Dubois, hooded by Professor Robert T. Sherwin and Professor Donald W. Yandel. Lacey Carol Duncan, hooded by Chris Warner and Professor Donald W. Yandel. Tabitha Ashton Dwyer, hooded by Professor Brandon Beck. Garrett Scott Elliott, hooded by Professor William R. Keffer. Miguel Angel Escobar, hooded by Professor Dustin B. Benham. Donovan Estrada, hooded by Hooding Professor. Julia Kate Farron, hooded by Kayla Wimberly. Paloma Celeste Flores, hooded by the Honorable John Philip Hayes and Professor Jorge A. Ramirez. Marcus James Fedor, hooded by Hooding Professor. Pamela Marie Gandy, hooded by Professor Q. Dwight McDonald and Professor Patrick S. Metz. Darren Matthew Garcia, hooded by Carlos Andres Garcia and Professor Donald W. Yandel. Kevin Jose Garcia, hooded by Professor Patrick S. Metz. Joshua Michael Giesling, hooded by Professor Dustin B. Benham. Samuel Festashian Gourmet, hooded by David Caldest. Rachel Cassandra Givens, hooded by Professor Jerry W. Byer. Pedro E. Gonzalez Cruz, hooded by Ana Maria Colom. Abigail McKinnon Goodman, hooded by Professor Robert T. Sherwin. Shruti Kupawaswamy Gopalakrishnan, hooded by Professor Q. Dwight McDonald. Julia E. Green Shelton, hooded by Professor Roderick E. Wetzel. David Ryan Grimson, hooded by Mark Stanley. Lawson Bodie Hamilton, hooded by Professor Donald W. Yandel. J. Mark Hand, hooded by Mark K. Morrow. Elliot Hilbers Hardy, hooded by Professor Roderick E. Wetzel. J.C. Leanne Harmon Miser, hooded by Professor Q. Dwight McDonald and Professor Larry R. Spain. James Roger Henderson, hooded by the Honorable James C. Henderson. Lindsay T. Hill, hooded by Amanda Cates and Rick Wardrop. Emily Jane Huber, hooded by Professor Jared S. Gonzalez. Caleb James Hudgens, hooded by Professor Jerry W. Byer. Garrett James Hurst, hooded by David Michael Hurst. William Marshall Irwin, hooded by Leland Marshall Irwin. Angela Jenkins, hooded by Deidre Ward. William Marshall, Dylan Walter Johnson, hooded by Hooding Professor. Summer Brianne Johnson, hooded by Professor Jeffrey S. Korn. Cameron Blake Jones, hooded by Professor Catherine Christopher and Professor Q. Dwight McDonald. Gordon James Jones, hooded by Professor Roderick E. Wetzel. Kyle Michael Jones, hooded by Wes Hightower. Liam Baker Keeney, hooded by Kevin Keeney. Liliana Joy Curry, hooded by Hooding Professor. Aaron Joel Kotulik, hooded by Hooding Professor. Richard Leong Lamb, hooded by Professor Roderick E. Wetzel. Nicholas Lefevre, hooded by Professor Jeffrey S. Korn. Zachary Paul Mathis, hooded by Professor Jorge A. Ramirez. Jessica Lisa Leek, hooded by Haley Hickey and Troy Nicholson. Alberto Javier Maldonado, hooded by Professor Dustin B. Benham and Professor Richard D. Rosen. Alexis Page Martin, hooded by Professor Brian T. Camp. Samuel Luis Martinez, hooded by Sam Martinez. Gladys Y. Martinez, hooded by Eldamiro J. Martinez. Addison Elaine May, hooded by Professor B. Allison Clayton and Bree D. Sherwin. Kayla Mackenzie McCafferty, hooded by Professor Patrick S. Metz. Jacob C. McDougall, hooded by Professor Dustin B. Benham and Daniel Gibson. Brandon Jacob Milligan, hooded by Professor Jared S. Gonzalez. Connor David Lee, hooded by Ryan Red. Lucas Minatello, hooded by Isaiah Solorzano. Cameron Edward Morris, hooded by Sean Adams. Kennedy Frederick Neri, hooded by hooding professor. Karina Renee Naida, hooded by Efraín Cantú and Maria Oviedo. Morgan Michelle Nelson, hooded by Professor Q. Dwight McDonald and Professor Donald W. Yandel. Shayna Carol Oakes, hooded by Professor Patrick S. Metz. Donovan Joseph Ortega, hooded by Randolph Joseph Ortega. Paulette Ortega, hooded by Ruth Rivera. Love Osemudin Osemugwaji. Mariah J. Palger. Lindsay Renee Parrish, hooded by Kevin Parrish. Lauren Grace Petty, hooded by Craig Oglesby. Abraham Benya, hooded by Professor Richard Rosen. Noel Anthony Perez, hooded by hooding professor. Curtis O. Phelps, hooded by Professor Wendy Tolson Ross. Maggie Jean Pipkin Fouts, hooded by Professor Dustin B. Benham. Rachel Valen Porter, hooded by the Honorable James W. Hendricks and Professor Robert T. Sherwin. Elizabeth Jewel Delois Pryor, hooded by Julian Jones and Zenobia Tasby. William Patrick Raftis, hooded by hooding professor. Zachary Thomas Ramone, hooded by Sarah Ramone. Jacob Noah Ray, hooded by Professor Robert T. Sherwin. Princess Margarita Rodarte, hooded by Jeffrey Blackwell. Victor Kingsley Salazar, hooded by Professor Jerry W. Byer. Peyton C. Saunders, hooded by Leonard Saunders. Haley Delane Schmidt, hooded by the Honorable John Philip Hayes and Kayla Wimberly. Tara Schwartz, hooded by Professor Jerry W. Byer. Jordan Wayne Sims, hooded by Professor Jeffrey S. Korn. Tyler Blake Slaughter, hooded by Hooding Professor. Amanda Brianne Smith, hooded by Professor Stephen Black and Terry M. Morgeson. Tyler Robert Smotherman, hooded by the Honorable James W. Hendricks and Craig Oglesby. Emily Rose Spute, hooded by Diane Spute and John Spute. Parker David Manuel Stallings, hooded by the Honorable James W. Hendricks and Deidre Ward. Taha Muhib Taha, hooded by Professor Q. Dwight McDonald and Patrick S. Metz. Okay, I can't. Lily Jessica Talamantes, hooded by Carla Rivera. Judy Marie Tejeda Gonzalez, hooded by Professor Brian T. Camp. Isaiah Gabriel Thomas, hooded by Jerry Dixon. Jarrett Richard Thurston, hooded by Professor William R. Keffer. Forrest Tierney, hooded by Professor Sally M. Henry. Abigail Rose Tinsley, hooded by Professor Jorge A. Ramirez. Stephen Trescott Trevino, hooded by Professor Dustin B. Benham and Professor William R. Keffer. Kinsey LeRae Tumlinson, hooded by Professor Jerry W. Byer. Catherine Suzanne Turner, hooded by Andrea Infojo and Assistant Dean Danielle Saavedra. Grant Kyler Underwood, hooded by Professor Jerry W. Byer and Roderick E. Wetzel. Christine Beth Vanderwater, hooded by Bill DeHaas. Jake William Villanueva, hooded by Professor Jerry W. Byer. Morgan Renee Walton, hooded by Professor Terry M. Morgeson and Robert T. Sherwin. William Powell Watson, hooded by Professor Jerry W. Byer. Jax Hayden Welch, hooded by Professor William R. Keffer and Professor Brian D. Shannon. Travis Lane Wiebold, hooded by Hooding Professor. Diamond Brianna Williams, hooded by Tashina Bird. Michael Byron Wright, hooded by Stacy Laughlin Wright. Zachary Carl Zahn, hooded by Professor Dustin B. Benham. Colin Ziegler, hooded by Deborah Ziegler and Greg Ziegler. I proudly present to you the class of 2023. Congratulations! We salute your dedication and perseverance as you continue your path to success. It is now my pleasure to welcome our elected class speaker, Judy Marie Tejeda Gonzalez, for remarks. Let's give the class of 2023 another round of applause. Woo! We are so proud of all of you. And again, we are honored to welcome the elected class speaker, Judy Marie Tejeda Gonzalez, for remarks. Let's give it up for Judy. Definitely got to lower that. A little nervous. Good evening, fellow graduates, Dean Allen, Dean Humphrey, Mark Lanier, Chairman Griffin, Regent Cash, President Skuvanek, Provost Hendrick, administrators, faculty, staff, family, and friends. It's hard to put into words how profoundly honored I am to be standing before you all tonight. If someone would have told me a few years ago that today I'd be standing here right now, I wouldn't have believed him. This is surreal. What I do know for sure, though, is that none of us would be here today without all of the love and guidance that we have received over the last 3 years. To all of our family, friends, and loved ones in attendance tonight, I think I speak for us all when I say thank you. Our accomplishment today is proof not only of our own academic success, but it is also the culmination of your unwavering support and encouragement throughout this entire journey. Thank you for being here for this momentous occasion in our lives and for everything you did to help us along the way. A special thank you to my mom and dad, my siblings, my in-laws, my amazing husband, Robert, and our 3 beautiful sons, Jagger, Logan, and Grayson. Everything I do is for you, my boys, and I hope that seeing your mom up here tonight inspires you to always dream big and to always chase those dreams. Yes. I had a baby right before finals last year, so that was fun. For all the loved ones we've lost that couldn't be here today, including my Gonky, Peepaw, and one of our own, Avery Byerly, I know you are all proudly watching down from heaven. I want to take a moment to acknowledge our wonderful professors who have spent the last 3 years sharing their knowledge and shaping us into lawyers and advocates. You have all changed our lives and enriched us through your teachings, and I am forever grateful to all of you, even those of you who scared me half to death 1L year with your cold calls. I still have nightmares about civil procedure and constitutional law. To Mark Lanier, thank you for showing us what we are capable of as tech law graduates. You embody the values of hard work, dedication, and excellence, and we are beyond honored to follow in your footsteps as we enter the legal profession. You truly are a legend around here, an inspiration to us all. Finally, to my classmates, the Texas Tech School of Law class of 2023. Congratulations, we made it! Today is a day to celebrate. It's a day to be grateful for what brought you here and to be excited about what lies ahead. We all took different paths to get to law school. Mine was not a traditional one. I was out in the workforce for 12 years before deciding to come to law school, but it had always been a dream of mine. In fact, I knew for sure I wanted to be an attorney in the 5th grade when one of my favorite teachers assigned the class to hold a trial. I was chosen to represent the big bad wolf who was accused of huffing and puffing and blowing down the houses of 3 little pigs. In all of my little overachieving 5th grade glory, I made my opening statement, examined witnesses, presented evidence, made objections, and I gave a stellar performance in closing. I fell in love right then and there with arguing, although I'm sure my parents would tell you that started long before that. I loved the power I had that day in that classroom, and when the jury of my 5th grade peers found Mr. Wolf not guilty, I knew I was going to be an attorney one day. It took me a while. My path was winding, but here I am, a Latina from a small town called La Mesa, Texas, just down the road. A first-generation college student, a wife, a mom, and now, like all of you, a doctor of jurisprudence. No matter what path you took to get here, we all started the same, in Lanier Auditorium, sitting 6 feet apart from one another, wearing masks amidst a global pandemic. As though law school wasn't hard enough to begin with, we spent our first year learning from home through video calls on our computers. This journey has been full of sacrifices and struggles. We've read tens of thousands of pages and written thousands of words, juggled classes and extracurriculars, held jobs, and dedicated hours upon hours to national teams, journals, organizations, and pro bono work. Looking back, I think we can all agree that this has been one of the hardest things we've ever had to do. But I think we can also agree that it was worth every second. Along with gaining an extraordinary education, we have forged lifelong friendships. Some of you have even found love during your time here, and I better be getting an invitation to any weddings that results. You should all be so very proud of yourself for being here today. We made it. But I have to say, we're not done. We must now think about our paths moving forward. My path is leading me to Dallas, where I'll be working for the IRS. Others of you are staying here in Lubbock. Some of you are going throughout the state, and a few others of you are venturing out across the country. Wherever you end up, in whatever field of law you practice, remember that the degree today that you've earned today has armed you with a very special power. You have the power to represent people who need an advocate, to counsel those who need advice, to defend those who've been accused, to speak for those who have been silenced, to prosecute those who have stepped outside the law, to protect the rights of those who can't protect themselves, and to seek justice and equality for those who are oppressed. You have the power to help others and change lives. But with all great power comes great responsibility. So as you embark on this new chapter, I ask that you remember the values Texas Tech Law has instilled in us: integrity, excellence, and service. But also, I ask that you just be a good person, to always show kindness and compassion and respect to others. You don't have to agree with everyone. We are each entitled to our own opinions, our own beliefs, our own truths. That's what makes living in this country so wonderful. But we must remain good people, even to those we don't agree with. I know you didn't choose me to speak to you today because of any academic accolade. You chose me because for the last 3 years, day in and day out, I have shown you all kindness, compassion, and respect. If there's anything you learned from me, I hope it's that you know these qualities will take you a long way. I encourage you to use them on your own paths to becoming remarkable attorneys, which I know you will. I know you are all so anxious to get to your family and friends to celebrate this important occasion, so I will leave you all with this. You are all incredibly intelligent and gifted, some of the most wonderful people I've ever met in my life. I am honored to call you not only my classmates, but my friends. I am so excited to see where each of you end up, where you all land, where you all are in 1 year, in 5 years, in 10 years. I'm so happy to be part of such a great class, and I wish you all the best of luck in your future endeavors. I know that the Texas Tech School of Law class of 2023 is really going to change the world, and I cannot wait to see it. I love you all. Congrats. Thank you.
Let's have one more big round of applause for Judy Tejeda Gonzalez. Wonderful. Thank you all for the privilege of sharing this day with you, and congratulations again to the class of 2023. Audience, one massive round of applause for our graduates today. There we go. There we go. We ask that you remain seated for the recessional exit of the stage party. Graduates, faculty, and hooders, happy 100th birthday to Texas Tech again. Best wishes to you all, and have a wonderful, wonderful evening. Thank you.